Wallace. Deputy Flanagan, 5 minutes.
Thank you, and I'll be echoing a lot of the sentiments by the last two deputies there. It is stomach churning to listen to the United States of America, or to listen to our Taoiseach here talk about sovereignty of states and how borders should be respected. I mean, you don't need to be a genius to realise that it is hypocrisy of the highest order, that the people who are preaching to us about what you should do are actually guilty of massive crimes. In fact, you can even extend that to the north, where we basically bring in warmongers like Richard Haas to tell us how not to kill people. It is remarkable, but I suppose it takes all sorts. Now, I think Russia could definitely learn something from the EU when it comes to ignoring sovereignty of a country. And the EU is a little bit more subtle when it comes to taking over countries. They don't move in with tanks or anything like that. They don't move in with soldiers that they say aren't from the EU and actually are, like is happening possibly in Crimea. What they do is they do it in the same way as a heroin dealer does it. The first fix is for free, and after that you'll pay the price till the day you die. And the way the EU has worked it is, let's say with our farmers, this is how they've taken our sovereignty bit by bit. They got the first bit for free, and ever since then farmers have to dance a dance to basically satisfy the criteria to get funding that they're used to, and if now they disagree, they're threatened with basically starvation and threatened with being ran off their land. And I think it's funny really that our government is so concerned about Ukraine's independence when they couldn't give a damn about our independence, not in the slightest. And you might say, oh, well, should we have referenda here to decide whether we go further into the EU? But the strange thing is, these referendas, if we don't agree with them, ye come back and tell us to do it again. That is not democracy. That is, we will keep asking you until we get what we're looking for. Now, last time around, ye really outdone yourselves. Ye actually named a treaty, the Stability Treaty, deliberately in such a way that anyone who said they were against it, you could jump up and say, well, you're against stability. Now, that is not democracy. You might as well have called it, vote against this treaty and we'll shoot all your kids. Oh my God, you couldn't be against that, because that means you want us to shoot all your kids. You might as well have done that. But the threat was, if we don't vote for this, we won't get retrospective recapitalisation of the banks. Well, we're still waiting for that to happen. Now, bar Jim Higgins, MEP, on a local radio station in the last 2 weeks in my county, announcing that this was going to happen before the next general election. I don't think he thought anyone else was listening. I think it's quite clear now, the game is up. We ain't going to get any of this money back. Now, there's a reason for it. One of the reasons is no more than the lad in the dance hall who never got a dance. He never asked in the first place. Ye never asked. But also, even if you did ask, with the spin that you're putting about turning around the corner, they'd actually be right not to give you any write down, because you have convinced them that things are going well. Now listen to this. Between the third quarter of 2011, when unemployment in absolute numbers was at its highest, and the fourth quarter of 2013, the numbers in unemployment fell all right by 75,000. However, the numbers of working age people emigrating was 116,000, while the numbers on labour activation schemes, training, education, etc., increased by 29,000. In fact, in reality, the numbers have gone up. You need to go out there and tell them the truth on this. And you need to also deal with the fact that this economy is dwarfed by debt. And we are now dealing with the slow motion reality check on this. What Morgan Kelly said was remarkable in one sense because it was terrifying what he was saying. It was remarkable in another sense that it was the bleeding obvious. We always knew this. There is no way this economy can pay back our national debt, private debt, commercial debt, whether that be large scale or SME. If you want to get this money back, tell them the truth and stop kissing their arses, please.
Minister Donoghue, you've 5 minutes.
We have said overall that some progress has been made. The figures bear that out. I listened to the points and figures that Deputy Flanagan raised. Of course, in the same vein, the figure that has to be stressed is that 61,000 jobs were created last year. Is that there's now just over 1.9 million people at work within the economy. We haven't had a figure like that at work in our economy since 2009. But I absolutely know that there are hundreds of thousands of people who still want to work who can't work. And I'm as in contact with the misery of that and the stress that causes as you are, because I deal with those people within my community and in my work across the country. And while it is welcome and is a fact that unemployment and the live register has come down by 20 months in a row, we have to see job creation play a far more important role in taking down that figure, as has been the case in recent months and across the last 2 years, because too many people are still leaving our country. And the areas the government have prioritised for that are in relation to our domestic economy, are in relation to construction, agriculture and in relation to tourism. That leads on to one area, or rather, that has been raised by everybody in their contribution, which is in relation to the Ukraine.